It's well, basically, now it's time to get in mind your audience and learn how to deliver a powerful and persuasive message. So it's going to be a persuasive message that Anthony Traeger will deliver. So if you have already passed your responses to Roll, I would like to introduce to you Mr. Anthony Traeger with his Project 9 speech, Persuade with Power, titled The Great Pyramid of Personal Growth. Mr. Anthony Traeger.
Thanks, sir. All right, a lot of new faces. I like it. All right, welcome all guests. Anyone who hasn't seen the previous 5 parts of this is a 6-part series. This is the final part. Just a quick overview so I can get into the meat of it. It's called the Great Pyramid of Personal Growth. And what that means is you want to figure out a way to develop yourself in all aspects of life. And I use the pyramid as a structure because it's one of the strongest structures to ever, be in the world, ever built. Right? The big, the pyramids in Egypt. They've been around forever, 3,500 BC. So it's one of the strongest structures that you could possibly imagine. Just to go quick overview, the bottom, which I call the foundation, is what we call awareness. You have to be aware of things before you can change them. You can't be aware, if you're not aware of, I always use this as this camera, but most of you guys don't know this camera's here until you're aware that it's there. Then once it's there, if I say point to the camera, you know it's there. So that's kind of the foundation, the base of it, okay? Then you have the first side of the pyramid, which I call your focus, okay? If you're not focused on things that you want to happen, they're not going to happen. If you focus on things that are bad, that are negative, that's where your mind's going to go, and you're going to start doing things to, I guess you could say, move in that direction. The next part of the pyramid, the next side of the pyramid, I should say, is your language. What are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to others? How are you speaking? Are you speaking in positive tones? Are you speaking excited? Or are you speaking about negative? Like, oh, I hope this doesn't happen, as opposed to, I'll get through this however I need to get through it. Then we have posture, the way you move your body. Do you move your body like this? Or are you saying, hi guys, how you going? This is great, I'm excited to be here. Or are you excited? You're standing up, you got your chest out, you're sucking in your gut, you're feeling confident about what you're doing. All right, then the final side of the pyramid is what I call PEQs, and that stands for Performance Enhancing Questions. Now, the questions that you ask yourself basically become your life. If you ask a bad question, you're going to get a bad answer. I always use the diet because that's what most people go through, and it'd say, when you're dieting, you're trying to lose weight, are you saying, oh man, I can never lose weight, why can't I ever lose weight? Your mind's going to try to figure out the right answer and tell you, well, it's because you always eat like a pig, you have no self-discipline, you have no self-control. Or you're just going to say to yourself, how can I lose this weight, enjoy the process, and become better every day? Your mind starts looking for the right answer. Now, just like with any structure that's built, it's not about the structure itself, the shell, so to speak. It's about what's inside. Okay, now what's inside is what I like to call PEDs. Now, I gave you guys a handout. You have a few things on here. If you go to where it says well-known PEDs, all right? That's basically, anyone who knows about sports, you hear about PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs, right? Everyone says they're so illegal, they're so bad, and they are. Now, I'm not up here promoting drugs, okay? PEDs in my world, and I think of the world of every successful person, is what we call performance-enhancing decisions, all right? Every decision you make in your life is going to either enhance your life or be a detriment to your life. I mean, it makes sense, right? So what I've done is kind of use an acronym and change the words to get people talking. Because someone says, about PEDs, their ears go up. They go, what's this guy talking about? And it's not about that. It's about making the right decision. Now, the next slide that I put on there, it says that, which one is a PED, right? The right decision or the wrong decision? I mean, it's simple, right? But people make so much into it and make it so difficult to really grasp the concept of how easy decision-making is, and they blow away out of proportion. Now, it's been said that on average, we make 35,000 decisions a day. 35,000 decisions. Now, when's the last time you counted your decisions? Never. Okay? And I'm not talking about the decisions of, oh, what shirt should I wear? What shoes should I wear? What spot should I stand on in the train? Okay? I'm talking about the things that really change your life. The decisions that change your life, like what you should do at your job today. You're working on a big project. What should you do? Now, we live in a world of instant gratification. All right, that means you want something, you don't want it now, you don't want it next week, you want it yesterday. And that's not the way life works. We have to think about the decisions we make. You might, like right now, for me, this is torture. Okay, because I started Atkins on Monday. Okay, because I want to lose my weight that I want to lose. Now, this room is filled with everything I can't have. But I made a decision. Now, I'd be a hypocrite if I said, don't worry about it, I'll just take a few pretzels, I'll take a few cookies. But that would not be doing the right thing for me and for everybody else here, showing, setting by example, so to speak. So that for me is what instant gratification is about. It's about, do I really want that right now? And just say, I'll just eat it. Or do I want to really lose that weight I want to, so when I go to Florida over Easter, I'll be in the shape that I want to be. So it's all about the decisions that you make a priority, and you really don't sacrifice, instant gratification for long-term success. And another thing is that you're 100% in control of your decisions. I mean, whether or not you believe it, you are. And I'm not talking about decisions that you have to make about doing a project or something of that nature. I'm talking about the decisions you have to make about how you approach it. Maybe there's something you don't want to do at work. Your supervisor or whatever it is, the manager says you have to do something. You don't want to do it. Now, if you go into it, man, I don't want to do this. This is horrible. This is garbage. That's the way you're going to approach it, and that's the way it's going to come out. And then it's going to be worse because your work is going to suffer. So it's a matter of how you approach things, right? And one thing that I've learned from Anthony Robbins, I'm sure you guys have all heard of him, one of the best speakers ever. He changed my life. But he said, most people should all over themselves, okay? And by that he means, most people say, I should do something. Like right now, I could change this, say, I should eat well, but I'm going to eat those cookies. And most people live their lives in the should mode, where they're always saying, I should do this, I should do that, as opposed to just making a decision and sticking with it. And more harm is done from indecision than there is from bad decision. I mean, think about it. You make a decision, and it's the wrong decision, you can change it. You could do what you need to do to change it. But if you don't make a decision at all, there's nothing to change. There's no way to get better, because you haven't made a decision. And then in the eyes of your superiors or whoever it is, you look like, you can't decide on things. And why would they want you to be part of big projects? And it goes with your family life as well, your spouses, your kids. If your kid has to do something and you say you don't make a decision on it, they'll just think, I can do whatever I want. I'm dealing with my son with that now. And you have to, basically make a decision and stick with it. And if it's the wrong decision, you change it. So, as you look at the slides, the proper use of PEDs, right? That's basically you stepping away from the pack, okay? The guy in the orange, that's you stepping away from the pack and you setting an example for those around you. You want to be the leader, you don't want to be the follower. Most people in life want to fit in. We're all here because we want to better ourselves, and that's fantastic, because that's what most people want, okay? I mean, most people don't want. So you're kind of in a smaller class. Then, if this was a meeting like, for all, just the basic things, the room would be packed about, complaining about the regulations and complaining about the rules. The room would be packed, people be hooting and hollering and yelling, right? You see it all the time. But now we're trying to improve ourselves, and it's a smaller group. And that's fantastic, because we're all trying to get better. Now, the last two slides, I show you before PEDs. I was, fortunate enough to travel to Egypt with my wife years ago, and we got to see the pyramids of Egypt. And the pyramid in the first picture with just me, it shows you what decisions can seem like if you're not prepared. And it's overwhelming. It's towering over you, right? But if you look at the last slide, which is after PEDs, after you make the proper decisions, okay, they shrink down. All right? So the bottom line is, with decisions, personal performance-enhancing decisions, you need to change the way you think of everything and the way you decide on things. And to finish up here, this was the pyramid that I started with when I first did it, okay? And this is what I'll end with, because this is one of the strongest structures ever known to man. And if you apply what I've taught you over the last 6 weeks, I really think you can change not just your office and your work life, but your personal lives as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Decisions. That's what life is all about, right? Or indecisions, as you can well know from individual decisions as well. You're going to be given 1 minute as well to fill out the survey for Mr. Anthony. And if you can start passing that over to him as soon as you're done. Can we get 1 minute on the clock, please? Okay. start passing up your. This is Stacy's. All right, so the next step would be, we will be doing Stacy Simpson. She's going to be doing a CC project called A Great Day in Harlem, Behind the Picture. Let's just jump right in to her. And so let me introduce you to Stacy Simpson with her speech. Great Day in Harlem.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to have a little assistance here. My assistant will help me flip through the slides. So my speech today is called A Great Day in Harlem. It's the story behind the picture. So this picture here is a famous jazz photo. And believe it or not, this picture was taken in 1958, so that is almost 60 years ago. And what is so special about this picture is that there's interesting stories behind how this picture was set up, some of the conversations that were going on behind this. I happen to be a jazz fan, and I also like photography, so this kind of, and anybody who likes jazz usually knows about this picture or has this picture someplace in their house in a frame. So what's so special about this picture also is that there were so many different type of jazz musicians here that day. So how this whole thing started was, Esquire magazine, there was a feature editor named Harold Hayes, who was also a jazz enthusiast, who wanted to do an issue in Esquire magazine about the golden age of jazz. So he reached out to an art director, his name was Art Kane, to kind of help him put this thing together. So Art came out with an idea of like, how about if we get together all the jazz musicians in New York, see if they'll come